Hello, fabulous, gorgeous listeners. Welcome back to Jeremy Spreads It, the podcast where I unapologetically spread queer truths, hot takes, and maybe a few legs. I'm your host, Jeremy Speddums, and I am so glad that you're here for season 2, episode 3, because we're going to talk about navigating dating and hookup apps. But I'm not going to go over every single type of dating and hookup apps there are out there, okay? I think you could do your own homework on that. Specifically, what I'm going to talk about is profiles and messaging dynamics, as well as safety. So before we jump in, I just have to remind everybody that although the political climate is rough, yes, the haters might be loud, but guess what? So are we. And this show is all about keeping our voices vibrant, visible, and undeniable. We are not hiding, we are not shrinking, and we are most certainly not logging off. So let's get things started by talking about profiles. Honey, if your dating profile or your hookup app profile still has the same grainy bathroom selfie from 2020, then you got some work to do. Okay? So first things first, your profile photos. Your photos are like your visual handshake or whatever kind of shake you want to make. And right now, too many are out there who are serving some catfish realness. I have been caught up in that game and it is not cute. Did I still have sex with them? Of course I did. But here's some tips as far as like your profile photos so that you can avoid catfishing people and avoid people fucking you out of sympathy, because that's what's probably happening if you are a catfisher. So, tip number 1, use some goddamn recent photos, okay? That blurry picture from college pride is not going to work, okay? I want to share a story about a catfish. I once met up with a guy who looked like 20 years older than his profile picture. Not kidding. I did turn him away, and he was even surprised at that. He was like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Of course I'm serious. Get the hell out of here. Don't do that again." So I don't really care about age, but if I wanted to bang a hot daddy, I would have sought a hot daddy. Okay, his picture looked like he was in college, and that's what I wanted at the time. Okay? So tip number 2, show variety of pictures. Okay, a solo shot or a picture of your chest or a picture of your leg or ass is not going to cut it, okay? So... And if you're showing a variety of shots on a dating and hookup app, it's probably better to not include your best friends in the shots or group pictures, because you're trying to sell yourself individually, not you as a package. You're not there yet. Because the main message you want to give to anybody looking at your profile is, are you available? What are you available for? And give me some eye candy so I can make up my mind about you. All right. This is crazy. All right. So let's talk about some bio basics. You got to tell people who the fuck you are. Okay. Your bio is. You got to tell people who the fuck you are. Okay. So instead of like, I like fun, like give me some flavor. Are you into weird documentaries? Do you like thrift stores? Do you like collecting frog figurines? Do you like yelling at Jeopardy contestants through the screen if you watch Jeopardy? Tell us something about you and drop some conversation starters in your bio. Like, for example, like I once cried at a Beyonce concert. No regrets. I've done that, and I also cried at Taylor Swift. I'm so sorry for the people next to me, because I was a hot mess. Some things to avoid for your profile are negativity. Like, nobody really wants to hear negative thoughts on there. You're kind of bringing down the bar for everybody on there if you're doing that. Because if your bio is giving tired, bitter, and vaguely mean, you're probably going to attract the same kinds of energy. Okay? So, what about those generic lines? We're all done with I love to laugh. Oh my gosh, I love the beach. Ooh, how generic. Be a little bit more specific. Like, tell us what makes you laugh. Tell us what you like about the beach. Tell us a little detail, but not too much that you're going to be giving too much away. Next, Try not to lie or exaggerate on your profile, because that's also not going to bring you the best of energy or people your way. Don't say that you love rock concerts if you'd rather be knitting while listening to lo-fi beats. Because I once did that to impress a guy. I told him that I love rock concerts, and I ended up in a freaking rock concert with him, and I couldn't hear for like 4 hours afterwards, and he was having the time of his life. Meanwhile, I wanted to scream. Actually, I was screaming, but for different reasons than the rest of the crowd. So, word of advice: just be real, be weird, and be you. Because if you're looking for specifics, then you gotta be specific. And last thing I'm gonna say about profiles is to keep them updated. Okay, like often. The way that I keep my profile updated is that I take a few pictures after I get a haircut, and that's like every 2 weeks or so, and then I post a picture of my updated hairdo. You don't have to do it as often as I do, but just try and update your profile picture to just avoid some catfishing. Let's move on to mastering the messaging game for dating and hookup apps. So now that your profile is snatched and polished, what happens when somebody actually messages you? OMG. Step one, don't respond to where you're at unless if that's what you're looking for. We all know what where you're at means, and we all know what kind of acts are going to be involved with that. Next, be authentic when somebody messages you or when you message somebody. If you're a goofball, send a meme. If you're deep, ask a real question. If you're chaotic neutral, send a riddle and see who survives. Go for it. And then step three, tailor your response to whatever message you get. Or if you send a message. If their profile mentions books, talk books, maybe that's a good conversation starter. If they love food, hit them with what's your favorite go-to comfort meal, and be ready for love, or at least food pics or other kinds of pics if that's what they're looking for, because you never know what the other people are going to be looking for, even when they are very specific on their profile. It's a hit or miss, okay? And remember, no response is a response. Try not to spiral if somebody doesn't respond to you. Don't stalk them. And do not triple text unless if you're Venmoing them gas money. Okay? That's all I gotta say. And if you get blocked, don't create another secondary account so that you can go back in there and try to cuss them out because they blocked you. That's just kind of creepy. Which brings me to the next subject, boundaries and bizarre encounters. Story time. I once had somebody with a very specific kink slide into my DMs, and at first I respected it and politely declined. But, after the fourth time that he asked me for videos of me doing things in the bathroom or in specific places that he wanted me to do things in, I had to block him. And he called it kink shaming, but honestly, I called it boundaries. Clear ones. So respect your boundaries and respect the boundaries of other people. Remember that consent is hot, and repeating uncomfortable behavior after a no is not. And the last thing I wanted to cover for today's episode is safety when you're using dating and hookup apps. Because when you're meeting somebody for the first time on one of these apps, I think it's important to let somebody know, either your friends or somebody that you're close with. Also, to keep your phone charged, try and meet in a public area when you can, and trust your gut. If this person is giving you horror story vibes, or you're getting chills just at the first encounter, don't be the person who just tries to go with the flow. Listen to your gut and be the bitch who dips before the opening credits are done in that movie. Because here's another true story. I once had a casual fling spiral into a full-on hostage-style guilt trip. It was scary as fuck, and I thought that we were having fun at first. And what I thought was having fun, he thought that I was coming onto him like hard romance style. And after we had our little encounter, he pretty much said to me that I used him, that I was like just like every single other guy out there, and that was disrespectful to his wishes. To be clear and honest, we met at a gay bar. We had a couple of drinks. I told him I wasn't looking for anything. He said he wasn't looking for anything either. It could have been the alcohol talking, or it could have been his emotions leading him to believe something else. But we went over to his place, had a good time, and then when I said I was going to leave, he jumped in front of his front door and blocked me from leaving until I profusely apologized for disrespecting him and leading him on. So I had to, because I was scared out of my fucking mind and I wanted to leave. But as soon as I did, I ran so far away. And ever since then, I make sure to put my safety first and let people know what I'm looking for. Try not to lead them on. And if they feel some sort of way after we're done, at least I set the boundaries beforehand. And you can too. But anyway, try to be safe when you're using these apps and when you're meeting people. And if you gotta kick somebody's ass, then you gotta kick someone's ass. Your life is more valuable than being held hostage or being put in a dangerous situation. So final thoughts. Your profile in your dating and hookup app is your moment to shine. Make your profile memorable. Make it you. Whether you're looking for love, a situationship, or someone to debate drag race robberies with, you put your full fabulous self out there, okay? Be specific, be kind, be funny, but not offensive funny, be authentic, and remember, be safe, okay? Above all, don't settle for less than what makes your heart scream yes. And that's all for today's episode of Jeremy Spreads It. If you laughed, learned something, or realized your profile needs an exorcism, please leave a review, share with your besties, and tune in next time for even more juicy goodness. And until then, stay sexy, stay smart, and spread queer information wisely. Bye, Felicia.